Hi everybody, I'm Janaea Swander and welcome back here to my channel where we talk about all things that help us to activate that inner connection and go more deeply within. Um, Today I want to have a conversation about YouTube and some things that were coming up for me, and I'm feeling that now is probably the time to do it because I'm a new YouTuber. Not a whole lot of people are checking in and everything here, so there's sort of like this freedom that comes with that, in a sense that, oh, I can get on here and I could kind of go a little bit crazy with what I want to say if I really want to, right? I'm not going to go too crazy, but I am going to share with you what is coming up here with being a new YouTuber and how I'm feeling that some of what I'm seeing in the world of trying to branch out into YouTube is also really a parallel to life. And so I want to go deeply into that. I hope you hang in there with me and stay for the discussion, and we can just really dive more into what was coming up. So I was starting to notice this dilemma that I had because this whole idea of going onto YouTube has actually been a couple years in the making. And it just took a while for me to fully warm up to it and to just hit play and say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to put it out there, whether anybody watches or not, right? Because that's the one thing I have no control over. The only thing I have control over with it is showing up and hitting play and putting it out into the universe. And I just didn't know, is this something that I want to do? And I looked at policies and I looked at what was going on with other YouTubers, and I was like, oh man, there's like a bazillion YouTubers out there. How in the world is anybody going to get any of my information or anything because there's so many of them? So what happens then, right? You go onto YouTube to find out how to become a YouTuber and how to get started and how what kind of videos should you start with and how do you get subscribers and how do you like all of this efforting that takes place. And I'm going to tell you what, there are enough videos out there on YouTube on how to be a YouTuber that you could pretty much just watch those videos for the rest of your YouTubing career and never actually get started. And that's part of what came up to me with wanting to have this discussion today, is the fact that really, in a sense, that's a parallel to life. We can get so paralyzed with all the options and all of the things that are available to us to how to even start in life and what direction to take, that we never actually start doing anything. I could sit here and watch every single one of those videos and all these recommendations from people telling me about how I should be me, how I need to show up, what kind of energy I need to have, how I need to display things, how my intros and my outros need to be, and all of that. And oh my goodness, is that exhausting? That is exhausting. If you've ever gone down that route before, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, and the energy that is just drained right out of you when you have everybody else in the world telling you who to be and how to be. There's nobody on the planet who can tell you how to be you. And that's part of what my channel is about, is, when I'm talking about activating interconnection, I'm talking about you learning how to be the best you. I'm not here to tell you how to be you. I don't know how you can be you. I'm learning how to be me. So I'm going to show up and be the best me each time that I show up. And the me today is going to be a little bit different than the me tomorrow. And the me today is a little bit different than the me yesterday. And that's going to be the same thing for you too, right? So we have this choice where we can get caught up in what everybody else wants and how everybody else says we can be successful. Like, because there are videos out there that say, you can go from 0 subscribers to 50,000 like overnight, or this is how you get 4,000 viewing hours. I mean, come on. It's stressful. It's stress-inducing. It provokes like this tension and anxiety, and like, if I don't do this right, then I can't do the things that I want to do. And I'm here to say that that's a bunch of BS. You can absolutely go down whatever path is right for you, regardless of how everybody else is telling you to do it. And I think that there's value definitely to getting some input and getting some feedback. And I've watched some of those videos and I've gotten some valuable feedback. And the things that are of value to me, I'm holding on to. One of them is consistency. I've noticed on YouTube being consistent. So right now my consistency is about making at least one video a week. My consistency level with doing that may very well change, in the upcoming months or years. I'm going to find out about that, but that's where I'm at today. So there's that consistency, consistently showing up, whatever it is. Your path could be something completely different than that being on a channel such as YouTube where we're inundated. We got everybody hanging out here. You can search anything on here, literally, right? That could be something completely different than that. But whatever your path is, whatever your passion is, whatever your career is, the biggest thing is just showing up every day and just doing the best that you're able to do and learning and practicing your craft. When I was finishing up undergraduate school and college, there was this time period where I just felt completely paralyzed to make a decision on what to do, because we had moved into this world, as a society where there were so many more options, and more options for women in particular, than there had been in decades previous to when I finished up school. And I just remember going, here are all these things. I could do anything, but what do I do? And it caused a depression. There was about a year I had a hard time finding a job, and I had an undergraduate degree, right? And I couldn't get employed. And it wasn't because I wasn't employable. It was like I didn't know which direction to take, because there were so many choices. And now I'm here to say to you, if you find yourself in a situation like that now, or maybe even in the future, not to let yourself get overwhelmed with all those choices that are available to you. We do have more choices now than we've had before. We have online choices now. We don't even have to leave our home to do work, right? We don't even have to do these long commutes that we used to have to do in some job instances. And we can get creative, and we can forge our own path in new ways that weren't possible before, certainly not easily possible, And so it's just a matter of not allowing ourselves to get bogged down with all the feelings of overwhelm and anxiety that can come with the plethora of choices that we have available to us, and just saying, what, I don't know which direction maybe is going to be ultimately the best for me, but I'm just going to pick the one that feels the best in this moment and go with it. And then knowing that as I'm going down that path, I may come to a fork in the road, and I may need to make another decision that takes me in a different direction. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that I made a wrong direction to start with, because perhaps that first direction is what got me to the next direction that gets me even closer to the things that are the right fit for me. So it was really interesting how taking this YouTube journey is really reminding me, of the fact that, I could spend my whole life watching all those videos, and there are plenty of them, and everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion about how I should be, or what my background should look right, or what all these things. Everybody has an opinion, but really I'm the one who gets to decide. And that's the same thing for you. Everybody in your life might have an opinion, or everywhere you look online may have an opinion about how you should be, and you get to decide. You get to choose that. And one of the things that I realized, in thinking about this, was that if you really think about people who have been successful in the world, the ones who we talk about, the ones who, make it to those elite few on our list of people who we remember, they're the ones who didn't go with the norm. They're the ones who said, I hear what you're saying, but I'm thinking that I need to do this over here instead, and I'm just going to keep going my path. They're the ones who probably in their time were labeled weird or eccentric, or, the people who are like, that one over there, he's trying to make a light bulb, and he just keeps going, he keeps failing at it, but then one day he succeeded. And now I have lights on me to be able to show up on the video camera to be present here with you. So there's also that part of like not allowing ourselves to get discouraged either, with the fact that it can take a while. Not everything happens overnight. Most of the people who have end up becoming super successful did not become super successful one day. They said, I want to do this, and then all of a sudden everything they wanted to achieve just got handed to them. You know, that doesn't happen. They worked for it. They kept plugging along. I mean, there are actors and actresses like Betty White is one of them who I think about. She didn't start to really come into her own until later into her 40s and then into her 50s, and has had this phenomenal career, you know, and is amazing. And we can do that too. We don't have to go along with the societal conditioning that can tell us otherwise, or that we need to be showing up a certain way. The way that we change this world, if we want it to be different, is to forge our own new path. It's to come up and show up as ourselves and not as somebody else. You know, I'm going to take a second look at my notes for a minute, because I do make notes before I make some of these videos, and sometimes I remember all my notes and sometimes I don't. But that's another thing, right? Is thinking that we have to come in and have the video just perfect. The second that, you know, I should have everything like laid out right here in my brain and be able to regurgitate it directly to you right away, without the fact that, no, I'm a human being and I actually do write things down before I start talking about them. And in looking at my notes, it reminds me also, you know, some of the things that we're told about on YouTube. It's like, you got to have these particular hashtags or people aren't going to find your videos. So you have to title your video just right so that it pops up with, you know, whatever videos you need them to pop up with. And got to have your thumbnails right so they stand out and they catch somebody's attention. And then the clickbait titles. I hate clickbait titles. If you're going to give me a clickbait title, then please give me the actual juice that goes with that clickbait title. I am not interested in clickbait title, and then I click on the video and I find out that your video has nothing to do with what you have drawn me into, the bill of goods that you sold. I'm not doing that. And I don't want to do that on my channel. Like, I may have something within my title that talks about, you know, top 5 tips or whatever, but I'm going to give you 5 tips. Or I'm going to teach you, or I'm going to share with you what I have personally learned and observed in my own work, you know, both with myself and with other people. But the clickbait video titles, I just can't stand them, you know, and that leads me to also remembering what was in my notes here, and that is that, you know, this whole thing is a game. So getting onto YouTube, it's its own game. It's its own little world unto itself. Just like life has its own rules for the game of how to play life. You know, and it started me thinking, I was like, wait a minute, do I really have to play by these rules? Can I make some of my own rules? And I do have to play by some rules. You know, I do. There are some rules on here. There are policies and community standards within this platform that I'm agreeing to adhere to. So I am playing by some rules, but do I need to play by all of the rules that other people are telling me exist? That's where I have some free will of my own and I can decide. And again, I mean, I'm saying this not just to remind myself, but also to let you know where in your life, you know, what type of work are you doing, or what type of thing are you passionate about, perhaps where you might have some rules that you need to adhere to. But might there be some places where there's some wiggle room so that you can also show up as you? So that you can bring in your own personality? And I believe that there is. And I believe that I'll find out for myself as I'm continuing this journey where that little bit of wiggle room is for me. And that you'll also find out for you in your life where you have those spaces where you can insert you. Because one of the things that I also think about with this is that, you know, if we're just always focused on listening to other people tell us who to be and how to be, we're never going to live. We're never going to get anywhere. You know, we're just going to be treading water. And I don't believe we came into this life to just tread water. I believe we came here to be much greater than that, you know. So I will check my notes here before I head out. And I think I said the main things I want to say. You know, let's just each show up as our best selves as much as we possibly can, doing whatever we're doing. And every day we get up, we just hit play, whether you're hitting play on a real recorder like I am, or whether you're hitting play in some other way in your life. And let's not let all that external noise dictate who we're going to be and how we're going to show up, you know. All right, so I hope you all take care of yourselves, be well, and I will see you at the next video. Bye-bye.